Hey guys, Beer Taster America. I'm out here, I got my dogs out here in the desert, showing you guys what it looks like. You see down there? There's some water down there. It looks different. It's more green. For the most part, it just looks like this. Guys, it's Arizona. Springtime, it's warming up. I'm here to do another beer review. Pacifico. Guys, I'm here to do Pacifico. La Cerveza del Pacifico. Cerveza Pacifico. Clara. Imported beer brewed in Mexico. I couldn't find on here any alcohol by volume. Not sure what the percentage is on this. I think Beer Advocate says it's 4.5, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. Here's their logo. Looks like an island or a mountain there next to the water with the anchor and the life preserver and some hops and barley. Guys, it's Pacifico. Now, if you've never had this beer before, this beer reminds me of a couple of other beers that I've had. It reminds me of Corona Familiar and also of Victoria. Those three beers, they're all similar to each other, but they're also all a little bit different. So here is Pacifico. Let me tell you what I think. The aroma, mostly like a malty kind of aroma. It smells, I mean, honestly, it smells really good. It smells like a tasty malt kind of smell. It's a little bit toasted. Tastes like just a real nice malt. Alright, let me give it a taste. I don't know if the microphone can pick it up, but I took a sip of this sucker and it is foaming, like fizzling like crazy after I sipped on it. There's a lot of carbonation. Alright, with this beer, it tastes malt, it tastes a little bit of bitterness, and also a little bit of astringency that I think is coming from corn. But mostly you're tasting malt. The hop, it's just like a balancing, light balancing bitterness, very light. And then the corn, you're not really tasting corn, you're just getting more like a light astringency. It also kind of balances out a bit. And it makes it all just overall seem a little bit dry, like a little bit of a dry finish to what a beer that is, for the most part, it's malty and a little bit sweet. It's got a lot of carbonation. The body isn't really light, and it's not really medium either. It's kind of in between. It's in between light and medium. A lot of carbonation. It does have a little bit of bitterness that lingers, just slightly astringent. Similar to Corona Familiar and Victoria. Now, of those three beers, I've had Victoria the most, and I like Victoria. I think it has a good drinkability. I only had Corona Familiar once or twice, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. This Pacifico, I've only had this a few times, and It's hard to say, you know, which of those three I prefer the most. Probably Victoria, because I've had it the most. But this ain't bad, you know. It's not a bad beer. I think there are a lot of craft brewers that fall short of something like this just because this has very good drinkability. Man, the flies are just swarming this. It's pretty good though. You know, it's got good drinkability. It's got some flavor. There's nothing really bad about the flavor. And really, it's not a bad beer. I think it tastes pretty good. You know, if you want a lot of hop in your beer, you want a real hoppy beer, you're not going to like this. But, you know, as I'm drinking it more, there's a slight graininess to the flavor. I'm sure they're using a corn adjunct. But not too much. Mostly you're just getting the malt. A little bit of hop bitterness, a little bit of corn. I think it tastes good. I think in general beer is better if you pour it out in a glass. You just can smell it better and taste it better. But even from the bottle, still it's pretty good. You know, this is another one of those beers that just makes you realize that there's so many different styles of beer and expressions of beer. And if you're only into hoppy ales, you're missing a lot. For example, something like this. Guys who are only into like really hopped up pale ales and just really hopped up beers in general, they would definitely turn their nose up at this and say it sucks. But it doesn't suck. This is actually a pretty good beer. It's not fantastic. It's nothing to write home about, you know. I'm sure there's some people out there, this is their favorite beer, but, you know, it's hard to really say this. Oh, this is so fantastic. This has got to be my favorite beer. It's not really that kind of a beer. It's just a good, solid lager. You know, it doesn't have strong flavors, but it does have more flavor than a lot of lagers do, lighter style lagers, because it's got malt. It's got more malt to it than a lot of light lagers have. Not even sure what color this is if I pour it out. Now it says Clara, which I think means it's going to be like a lighter colored beer. But I'm not sure, I haven't poured it. This would go real nice with, you know, lunch or dinner. Or just to throw back a few. It's a nice, easy drinking beer with a little bit of character to it. More so, you know, this doesn't taste like, there's some cheap, shitty adjunct lagers out there that are just harsh, taste real adjuncty and shitty. This is much better than that. You know, like an ice lager or something like that, those shitty, cheap ones. This is much, much better than that. This is crafted to be drinkable and decent. Now, it's not going to blow you away. It doesn't have like the quality of malt or hop that you get in, you know, a more expensive beer, a higher quality beer. But you just want a slightly malty, easy drinking lager. Hey, this is pretty good. I think it's pretty good for what it is. And personally, I like to experience all different types of beers and switch it up all the time, especially based on season. As it's starting to get warmer, these lagers are becoming a lot nicer. So I think you should give this beer a try if you've never tried it, just to experience something different, a different style of beer than maybe you're used to. This is a certain style of Mexican beer that's like this one, Pacifico, Corona Familiar, Victoria. They're their own style and class of beer. They have a maltiness. They have a distinct style and flavor. This is one of those beers. Give it a try. This is, I think, the easiest to find of those three. Most widely available. It should be cheaper. At Walmart, this is 11 and change. It should be cheaper than that, but maybe not, because, you know, they're using real malt and decent malt. Not skimping on the malt per se. even though it's adjunct, I think. But it's a decent expression of beer. You know, slightly different from the rest. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. I think it's pretty good. It's Pacifico. It's not going to blow you away, but it's a solid beer. And I like it. Pacifico. Enjoy.